we're joined. Ben Blessing, Executive Vice President of Blue-Emu, joins us this morning. Ben, thank you so much for your time. How are you?
Good. Thank you all for dealing with my lateness. I apologize for that.
No, don't you worry about that. All right. Now, from where we sit, okay, we're just wondering if now that you had a good night's sleep, if whether or not maybe, I don't know, do you think maybe you went a step too far? Explain why it is that this bothered you and Blue-Emu so much.
Look, I don't want to. I think it's important to stress enough that our country's going through something that's truly horrific, and I don't want to try to take light away from what people are dealing with, right? You know what I mean? So I want to be sure, because I do realize it got everyone tail feathers messed up, but that's not our goal here. You know, we were trying to make light heart of something that happened and treat it as if it was a real race. Because if Bubba would have done that in a real race car, I'm pretty sure we'd all have a different discussion right now.
Damn right.
The mere fact that he was behind a video game controller is what has everyone in a fuss. I get it. But in a society that is built around sports, right, and sports are gone right now, NASCAR is in a fantastic position to help us, give us a little bit of hope that life could possibly soon get back to normal. And we all got to agree, this cars look pretty daggone real when you watch them. Like,
yes.
I don't think everyone expected that to happen. So, look, we love NASCAR, man. We're the official pain relief cream of NASCAR and of Major League Baseball. We know Richard, Mr. the King, as my kids call him, great guy. Even Bubba's good for the sport. I know we're all here to pick on him, but he's good for the sport. He's got an edge to him I think is important. But quitting because you don't like the game that you told me you were going to race, that's a problem, to me. Bubba is still a great guy, but we will not have people quit on us. That's not what we do.
Ben, so. I was searching for a picture of you because when we do this, we do our show on YouTube and Twitch, and we like to put a graphic up of who our guest is. And the one picture I found of you is of you and your son. And I say that because what this reminded me of, and I've used this reference several times this morning, is that my son and our producer of our show at one time played the Madden video game in my house. And when my son was up 4 touchdowns on our executive producer found a way to quit the video game. And I thought this is not only a lesson for Bubba as quitting, but I'm guessing, Ben, you use this with your son, whether you're going to play a game of horse and be up HORS to 0 on him or block a shot in the driveway. These are life lessons that we can teach you, aren't they, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. Look, I always joke with my kids because we've got 3. I tell my 13-year-old he's the first 13-year-old I've ever raised. So, and then when he turns 14, you're the first 14-year-old. And so we're always trying to teach our kids lessons, right? And look, I understand the lesson. I'm 35 years old, so I grew up with right as gaming was starting. And I have fond memories of throwing controllers at video game screens and my father obviously taking it, So I understand it. I've seen my son do it and love him to death. But, when you know what it's like having to look at your kids and they go, "Where'd your car go, Dad?" I don't know. He just quit. And look, I've got a boss too. You know how hard it is talking to your boss going, "Hey, where'd the car go?"
Well, he parked it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's even worse. Parked it. Maybe I could have spun it as he lost his internet connection. Then I see these videos start coming out, and then I see him like rage quitting, and look, can I be real frank here? If he would have done all that, we would have never done it. The mere fact that he put out what he did, I feel like was disrespectful to the e-racing community. Like, it's not just a game to Timmy Hill. I'm pretty sure William Byron, correct me if I'm wrong, he was kind of found through iRacing. I'm pretty sure this isn't a game to him.
Got that right. He's Ben Blessing, Executive Vice President of Marketing for Blue-Emu. He's kind enough to join us here on Miller and Moulton. And Ben, I think you hit on something that Mark and I in the last couple of weeks have been bringing up, that this simulated racing, as you mentioned a moment ago, first off, it looks great. Secondly, it appeals to a young demo that all sports are trying to reach. And we've even gone so far, Ben, as to say we could see this being incorporated into a racing weekend where maybe Friday night, okay, is when the E-race is going to be.
Look, have you played the game?
Not
No.
yet. But I've priced simulators, Ben. I mean, that I will tell you this. I have a 20-year-old son that I grew up playing video games with. And I talked to him about it because he's a big NASCAR fan. And he said, well, you can get a cheap one for about $300. And I went, really? So, oh, yeah, Ben, I'm close to buying one. This is next level good to me.
So we do crazy marketing, and I know a lot of people aren't aware who we are, but we've been around for a long time. We compete with guys like Icy Hot. So I mean, we have to be ragtag, and we have to be doing nimble things at all times because that's how we stay in our big retailers like Walmart and Target. Is we have to do crazy things periodically. And so Rusty Wallace, Johnny Bench, Mike Ditka, we've had all of these guys. But when iRacing popped up, that's exactly what we did. I go, look. We need to buy cheap setups, and we just need to play the game because we have no business sponsoring a sport that we don't even know how to play. If we don't even know how to turn it on. So if you walk into our office, now not right now, obviously, given the COVID stuff, but they came in and we gave them to people on the team. We got that $300 steering wheel your son's talking about set up at everyone's home office. And learning how to play, this is the difference of what Bubba did to Landon. Landon had a Zoom call with me and one of my other marketing people after the race yesterday just to talk. Landon Castle. Bubba, no one knows where Bubba went because Bubba quit. So, that's what I'm saying. So, the game's fun, but, Landon is taking it very seriously, and he's a driver, too.
In this market, we know who you are because Johnny Bench has been doing ads on this station. David and I have been on for about 3 years, and, Johnny's told us he doesn't stink for at least 3 years. He comes down once a year for an event in our area, so we've interviewed Johnny a few times over the years. So,
cool.
In this market, we're very sure. So, obviously, Ben, you didn't only jump into this from the standpoint of the racing, but you've jumped on with your team, and I don't mean your team with Bubba. I mean your team with Blue-Emu, that as a company, you guys are into the virtual racing. Any other virtual sports that you guys are going to enter into as this – we're going to be dark sports-wise for a while, Ben. As you mentioned, this NASCAR's got a huge opportunity. Is there anything else in the virtual sports world that Blue-Emu is looking at?
It's possible. That's funny. These two deals we have right now came out interesting. So we operate without an agency, which is kind of unique. So there's literally 7 of us that run the marketing for Blue-Emu and no agency. And so for years we've done TV and we've done radio and we've done all this stuff with Johnny. And like I said, you've talked to Johnny. When we're getting ready to start 2020 in about September, we were all making jokes that we needed to do a big move in a way that people knew who we were finally. And that's how these NASCAR and MLB deals came about was let's do something wild. And we were like, let's be the official pain relief cream in NASCAR and MLB. No one thought we could do it. We were very blessed and still are to have pulled that off. But we want to respect the real sports. But, look, NASCAR, in my opinion, is in such a unique spot right now because their sport is the only one that's going to carry over. This is the only sport where Junior can drive on a real racetrack and behind a steering wheel. Baseball, I love baseball, and I think it's fantastic. We can't wait for the season to start. But you can't get all your baseball players onto one MLB The Show and have them play all the game at one time. It don't work that way. NASCAR is in such a unique position right now with e-gaming. And, look, I'm a dad, too. E-gaming gives me a headache like every other father going, there's no way you can make a living at this. There's no way you make a living at this. Landon's making a living at it right now. Bubba's making, I know these drivers are waiting to get back in real race cars, but we've got drivers that are taking full advantage of this opportunity, and it's pretty neat to watch. And seeing NASCAR and Fox get behind them and Fox Sports get behind them. And,
right?
I mean, we're just trying to give everybody a little bit of hope here,
Listen, there's over 1 million people that have watched the last couple of races. When they moved it from FS1 to Fox, I mean, there's seven figures people watching this.
Oh, yeah.
This is
1.4 last week. I
yeah,
can't wait to see today's numbers.
yeah.
Or yesterday's
Ben,
numbers.
Ben Blessing, Executive VP of Marketing for Blue-Emu. By the way, we have been wondering, speculating. We think the two
Uh-oh.
sports that could start up first with what we're all dealing with now are golf and racing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now probably racing without fans, okay, which obviously NASCAR would prefer not to do. But in terms of being able to race, all right, do you agree with us? Do you think that NASCAR is more likely to be one of the first sports back?
Yeah. I mean, and this is not offensive to NASCAR because, look, we wouldn't have done the deal with them if we didn't love the sport. NASCAR is doing some great things in the future, and they're even going to test some stuff, or they planned on doing some stuff testing this year in terms of scheduling. I think they're in a unique opportunity this year to take what, the lemonade line,
Right.
they can run without fans. And I say that not because in a joke, people like to make the joke of NASCAR's been losing fans for years, but let's be real. NASCAR's used to having rain delays on a Sunday, and everyone's got to go work on a Monday. So, they'll run their race with, 20 people
Right.
in the stands if they have
Sure.
to. So they know the mechanics it takes to run a race without a fan, So I'm with you. So we highly agree there. They don't have, they got a driver, their pit crew. Each team's probably got 25 to 30 people that are there, and that's it. And with the 5-minute COVID test, I mean, you could in theory see that happen very quickly where people get tested before they go into the track.
Ben, we really appreciate the time this morning. Enjoyed
Yes.
talking to you about this because it is something we are very interested in where it is now and where it will go. And now that I know you're one of 7 people and there's no agency, it's very scary that we have your number because, we're both over 50. And if there are 2 guys in more need of a pain cream than Miller and Moulton, and
Right.
and even more in need of a sponsor than Miller and Moulton, I don't know who the hell they are. Ben, thank you so much for the time this morning. In all seriousness, we really appreciate it. This is something we're very fascinated in where it is going forward and hope to have you on again as the e-racing series continues.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Ben Blessing, Executive Vice President of Marketing for Blue-Emu. I mean, you're right. He's official, pain relief cream for NASCAR and for Major League Baseball. Now, if they could add Miller and Moulton to that,
Right.
I mean, that'd be the trifecta.
You got that right. He
Right
has
there.
no idea what he walked into.
He'd be a marketing person of the year if he could add our show.
Well, I mean, if he could get a Golden Apple Award winner endorsing his product.
Well, then he may have to look for a different show. But
a Golden Apple nominee.
Right. That's
because
Mark
I've got
Miller.
people over at NBC2 that have already said they're willing to nominate me.
Right. In 2 weeks, he apparently has transformed education in Lee
4-day
County.
school week in Lee County.
There you go. We've been big fans of the 4-day work week, so you knew Mark and his daughter would bring it to school. Ben Blessing
Millions
joining us
in
here
buses alone.
on Miller and Moulton. Olivier Knox, who he does news for a living. He's the chief Washington, D.C. correspondent for SiriusXM. He covered President Trump's conference call with the 12 commissioners of major sports in North America on Saturday, and he will join us coming up in about 15 minutes to give us some insight on what really went down and what we as sports fans can expect going forward. Brett McMurphy in 45 minutes to talk a little college football. Miller and Moulton. Today was the day when is next on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.